Hey gang, in this video I want to go over the difference between using default descriptions in a section or using a default field value. So let's kind of go over this, and I'm going to actually build out two different things. So I'm just playing around with this wind mitigation section, and some of this won't make any sense for wind mitigation, but it's just an easy place for me to fiddle with this. So I'm going to edit the section, add new, and let's just build a new field. So we'll call it wall materials, and let's do drywall and plaster and wood. All right, so we just built a few options. Now, let's say that you're working in some place where basically every building has drywall, and you want that to always show up in your report every time. So then what you can do is put drywall as the first field value and then use first option as default field value. So when you set that, it's going to show up on every report. Now what's a little unclear, if we go ahead and add this field, you'll notice the drywall does not show up. So let me go ahead and test this for you. What I'm going to do is hit Save Template, and then we're going to call this a test template. So this is not, I kind of forking it into a different template. We'll even call it test 2. So now it's a different template. I'm going to hit Save Template. Okay, we got a save template. Now I'm going to go home and create from template, and we're going to do test. Whoops, there we go, test 2. And we'll create a new report from test 2. Okay, so we've created a new report. Let's go down to that wind mitigation section. And so with the new report, you can see drywall came automatically populated. So if you work somewhere and where you just always have a bunch of fields that are the same, set the first one, and you can use that feature. Again, let me show you where that is. That is in all of these fields. It is use first option as a default value. Now if you wanted to, you could put a long string of text here, right? You could, let's build another one. Roof limitations. Inspect the roof when it is not safe. When roof pitches exceed 5 and 12, they are not walked for the safety of the inspector. And we could keep going. I'm just trying to get, I don't know, let's even do a little bit more. When snow and ice covers the roof, they are not inspected. Okay, and then let's use this as a default field value. Now we're going to add this field. Okay, so now it doesn't show up. You can click it and make it show up. And if we want to, why don't we preview it? But again, what you can do is when you're editing this, just use this default option, and now this roof limitation will show up on every job. Let's check it, and let's go preview here, and we'll kind of see what that looks like in a finished report. Okay, so I navigated into a finished report here, and you can see we got drywall and our roof limitation. So that's a cool way to do limitations. They're going to show up every single time you produce a new template. The only drawback with this is I personally like to set my templates where there's absolutely nothing pre-selected. And this is just my own workflow, but I end up doing lots of different things. Sometimes I have consultations, sometimes I'm doing a condo interior, sometimes I'm doing a commercial building, and I don't want to have to go through then and delete these pre-selected things. I want everything to be blank and then show up as I click boxes and stuff. And maybe that makes extra work for me with each job, but it makes it a lot easier for me to manage my template because I can use one template for just everything that I do. So that's just something to think about with this, but that's one way to do limitations and have things come up every time. But there's another way to do it, and that's what we call default description. So let's set one of those up. So the first is, why don't we go ahead and copy this text. Not that it's very good, but I'll just show you what we're going to do here. So let's go ahead, and the first thing, if you want a default description, is you need your description modifier. That's this gray one here. And whenever you use the description modifier, it's going to show up in this kind of italics. So that's just kind of how all the description modifiers are. So now let's add to library. All right, so now we have a description in here. So then what we can do, once we have a descriptive comment, we can edit this section and we can add new, and we can use a default description. So let's hit the default description. When you click that, it's you could have 20 different descriptions here. You can choose which one you want. So we'll add that field, and so now this will show up every time you do an inspection. One advantage of this is you could even have a picture showing up with it, and I'll update the library and we'll include that media in here. Now let's go ahead and save template. This is test 2 that we're saving, and I'm going to go ahead, once this saves, I'm going to start a new report, and you'll see what I mean. Here's the test 2, so we'll go ahead and start a new report. And let's go down to the wind mitigation section, and you can see that all of this stuff is showing. I mean, we've got both the roof limitations and the drywall selected as default values, and we have this default descriptive comment posted. It looks like I wasn't able to get that image in. I probably just didn't let it sync for long enough before we did this, but you get the picture, so to speak, that you can have illustrations attached there if you're a little more patient. So pretty cool, right? Does that make sense? You can either use default descriptions and get full-blown text boxes that show up on every report, or you can use these field values. The field values you would not be able to connect a photo or an illustration to. I hope that helps distinguish the difference between default descriptions and default field values. Thanks for watching.